won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where the paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but it's too late. And asking Mr. Peabody's gold train all dead away. Sometimes we travel right down the Green River to the abandoned old prison down by Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late. Asking Mr. Peabody's gold train all in a place. Well, the old company came with the world's largest shovel. They tortured the timber and it stripped all the land. Well, they dug for their coal till the land was forsaken. Wrote it all down as the progress of man. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late. And asking Mr. Peabody's gold train all dead away. When I die, let my ashes float down the Green River. Let my soul float on up to the Rochester land. I'll be halfway to heaven with paradise waiting, just 5 miles away from wherever I am. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay? I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late. And asking Mr. Peabody's coal train all dead away. Mr. Peabody's coal train all dead away. Brian reported on about
'How are you? Looks no good.
Good evening, everyone. We hope you're having a fantastic evening, and on behalf of Cousins with a Cure, I would like to welcome you to this very special event as we try to increase awareness of pancreatic cancer. We have a very special program for you today, and as I told you, Cousins for a Cure and friends have organized this particular event, and the honorary chairperson is Diane Ramsey Forsyth. Diane is a current victim of pancreatic cancer, and Diane's mantra has always been reach and teach. And Diane says, of course, if this disease can be beaten, she's going to be the one to beat it. Now, there's some very disturbing facts about pancreatic cancer I'd like to share with you briefly here. The 5-year survival rate is only 5%. And that figure, by the way, has not changed in some 30 years. That's an astounding figure to me. And although pancreatic cancer is the 4th largest killer cancer, it's only 11th in funding. Also, although pancreatic cancer is second behind breast cancer in cancer deaths, there's really no publicity about it at all. In fact, how many of you knew that November was Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month prior to the publicity of this event? Yeah, see, very few people here knew about that. There are many, many different kinds of cancers. My family has been touched many times with cancer. We have cancer survivors in my family, and we have lost family members due to cancer. In fact, one of those due to pancreatic cancer. So at this time, let me introduce to you Becky Estes. Becky is Diane's sister, and Becky is going to share a few words with you from the family about today's event.
Hi, I'm Becky Estes. I'm Diane's older sister. She's 5'10" and I'm 5'5". She's fighting pancreatic cancer. But the first time she laughed after she had been with us and diagnosed in the party, she's a fighter. She coined the word that you see on our shirts. She says that she's a girl of the South with attitude. Diane's always had attitude. She's got it even more now. She has every intention of winning the fight against this monster. And she's also doing everything she can to let people know. She told me the other day that she was on the way to the grocery store. She'd been cutting up purple ribbons, and she's handing them out. And she said she was amazed at the people that she met that had had pancreatic cancer. So it's something that's not talked about a lot, and I'm glad it's coming to the forefront. I'm getting sort of choked up, but I'm going to get through this. She keeps saying we must reach and teach. Well, this is the purpose for our afternoon. I talked to her today before we came. She sounds good. And yesterday, she went to the gym. So she is doing everything she can to be a fighter and a survivor. We hope you will continue to do this. You live here is to reach and teach. Thank you.
Becky, thank you very much. And again, thank all of you for being here tonight. This afternoon. We most certainly appreciate that. Let's talk for just a moment before we move on to other business here this evening about the Cousins for a Cure. I'm going to introduce to you my Vanna tonight. Come on, Vanna. Vanna Teresa.
Never been called that.
You've never been called Vanna, she says. They're selling t-shirts tonight for $20. These shirts, with your purchase, the funds will go to Massachusetts General Hospital, and they will be earmarked for pancreatic cancer research there. That is where Diane is being treated. And we hope that you'll pick up a shirt. There's all kinds of literature to the back of the stage. Be sure to get your ribbon. There are bracelets, bookmarks, just a lot of information back there. So the Cousins for a Cure have done a fantastic job, and we appreciate their efforts in organizing this event. It's my honor now to introduce to you the Honorable Mayor Joe Collins of the town of Franklin and Vice Chairman Bobby Cuppers of the Macon County Board of Commissioners.
Recently, it was the honor of the town board and the county commissioners to adopt a proclamation regarding pancreatic awareness. It was drafted by Mr. Horton at the county and all, and Mr. Bobby Cuppers is going to read it to you.
And I'm honored to do that. I've known this family probably just about as long as I've been here. And when I got the opportunity to do this on behalf of the county commissioners and the town, I genuinely appreciate this opportunity. Proclamation, Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas over 42,000 people will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer this year. Whereas pancreatic cancer is the deadliest cancer, the fourth leading cause of death in the United States, and approximately over 1,000 deaths will occur in North Carolina. Whereas 76% of pancreatic cancer patients die within the first year of their diagnosis, and 95% of pancreatic cancers die within the first 5 years. Though pancreatic cancer kills twice as many Americans as AIDS, it receives 39 times less funding for research. Whereas there is no cure for pancreatic cancer and there have been no significant improvements in early detection, treatment methods, or survival rates in the last 30 years. Whereas when symptoms of pancreatic cancer present themselves, it is usually too late for an optimistic prognosis, and the average life expectancy of those diagnosed with metastasis disease is 3 to 6 months. Whereas the federal government invests less money in pancreatic cancer research than it does in any other leading cancer killers, whereas the good health and well-being of Macon County residents in North Carolina are enhanced as a direct result of increased awareness about pancreatic cancer and research into the early detection, causes, and effective treatments, whereas the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network is the most effective national patient advocacy organization that serves the pancreatic cancer community in Macon County, North Carolina, and nationwide by focusing its efforts on public policy, research funding, patient services, and public awareness, as well as education related to developing effective treatments and a cure for pancreatic cancer. And whereas the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network and its affiliates in Macon County, North Carolina support those patients currently battling pancreatic cancer, as well as to those who have lost their lives to the disease and are committed to do nothing less than a cure, therefore be it resolved that Macon County Board of Commissioners designate the month of November 2012 as Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, and specifically November 15th, 2012 as Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Day in Macon County, North Carolina, adopted the 13th day of November 2012. H. Kevin Corbin, Chairman, Board of Macon County Commissioners.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioner Cuppers, thank you very much. Now let me introduce to you Todd Raby. Todd is a local son of Macon County, and Todd would like to make a few remarks to you.
Good evening. My father, Tom Raby, was a victim of pancreatic cancer. When you're touched by cancer, I'll let you know, you're aware of it at that point in time. I'm glad that Ms. Ramsey has brought it to the attention that we have made it this day, Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Day in November, Pancreatic Awareness Month. It's mean. It doesn't care who you are, where you live. It's tough. But all I can say is, any of you who have been touched by pancreatic cancer or any kind of cancer, if you, I'm sorry.
What Todd wants to say is that if you have a loved one from pancreatic cancer or any cancer at this time, if you would just like to say their name out loud, we'd love to hear you shout their names out as we lift them up. So for those of you that are here, whether you are fighting the battle or whether you were beside someone fighting that battle, we want to say we appreciate you coming out as a witness to them and as a witness to yourself for those of you that are fighting. So if you want to just uplift their names, we're not going to take the make everyone come up here because it's difficult to do when you're being touched and you're hurting right now and remembering those loved ones. So we just ask that you lift their names up. Diane.
Tom Raby.
Cancer, like you said, knows no bounds, and pancreatic cancer certainly is not the only cancer that has taken lives and loved ones. And so today we are honoring anyone who is a survivor or anyone who has fought that fight or has a loved one who has lost that battle.
I apologize for the emotional breakup, but thank you all for being here. I appreciate it.
We are hard-pressed to find a family in Macon County who has not been touched by cancer, and I hope that you will take this time to join with me right now for a moment of silence as we remember those who have lost their battle with cancer here in Macon County. Thank you very much. We have several local oncologists that are scheduled to come up to the stage now to share a few words with us. They are Doctors Thomas, Haskell, and Messina. Are you folks here? Any one of those here? Okay, all right. We don't see those folks here. We know they're busy. I can tell you, my father is a 2-time cancer survivor, and Dr. Thomas treated him during his last ordeal that he went through for several months and did a fantastic job. Know too that our local healthcare community here, Angel Medical Center, and the many physicians that we have here, the many oncologists are working hard to work toward improving care for cancer patients and making that more readily available to the citizens of Macon County. Our guest speaker this evening was born and raised in Central Florida during the pre-Disney era there. Because her mother was born and raised in North Carolina, she made numerous trips to our beautiful state visiting her grandparents. Besides Florida, Cherry Martin has also enjoyed living in Atlanta and Charleston. She spent 13 years also living in Germany and has lived in Cullowhee for the past 12 years. Cherry met her husband at the University of North Carolina, where she received a degree in international studies and management. They have one daughter who was born in Germany, and that daughter currently serves in the United States Air Force in Charleston. Cherry homeschooled their daughter from kindergarten through her high school years. Cherry has worked as a cosmetic buyer for the Eckerd Drug Corporation, soft goods buyer for the Armed Forces Recreation Center in Germany, and most recently was the director of the Cullowhee office of the Smoky Mountain Pregnancy Care Center. Cherry is 59 years old. She is not a smoker or a drinker, and this is why her speech to you tonight is so special. She was diagnosed in February with stage 3 pancreatic cancer, and she is here this evening to share her story with us. Please make her welcome, Cherry Martin.
Hello, I'm good. I was hoping everyone could hear me because my voice doesn't seem to be too strong right now. Thank you for being here today. That means a lot to me, as I know it means a lot to others that have been touched not only by this kind of cancer, but many other kinds of cancer. 5 years ago, this coming February, I received a phone call that no one wants to receive about a loved one. It was a VA doctor down in Orlando, Florida, calling to let me know that my father had just been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He had already been informed that he had the cancer, and he had wanted her to call me to let me know that he had this cancer. He was 88 years old. Some months earlier, he had taken a fall and he had bruised his ribs when he fell. And I talked to him every day on the telephone, and he was never one to complain. But after the fall, he started to talk about having some pain in his back and his side, and even in his abdominal area. We just both thought it was because of his fall and maybe some indigestion. But as we found out from what the doctor found from tests, that it was much more serious than that. So I went to Florida, and I was surprised to find out how weak he was. We went to see the doctor, and she said that Dad's cancer had spread beyond the pancreas, which made treatment with any hope of recovery out of the question. Because of his age and his physical condition and the stage of his cancer, there wasn't really much they could do, and she said it would be good if I could just make him as comfortable as possible for the time that he had left. She gave him 6 weeks to 3 to 4 months, and that was a difficult diagnosis to hear. So since he lived alone, I brought my dad back here to Cullowhee to stay with us and took care of him. And it was shocking how quickly he went downhill. Here was once a very strong man who no longer was able to walk without falling down. He eventually stopped being able to eat, had to stay in bed his whole time, and less than 3 months after his diagnosis, my father passed away in our home here in Cullowhee, North Carolina. I thought Dad had gotten the cancer because of his advanced age, because he had smoked when he was younger, and even because of some alcohol that had been consumed during his life, nothing major, but those are some risk factors for pancreatic cancer. But I have been surprised to learn that although there are certain risk factors that may be a cause, that to this day scientists still do not know what causes pancreatic cancer. Only about 5% of occurrences happen within a family, and in most cases, the pancreatic cancer occurs randomly. There is no known cause for it. And not only that, doctors cannot easily detect it, and very little is known about how it can be prevented. So my dad became one of the 75% of people diagnosed with pancreatic cancer that die within 1 year of diagnosis. He missed early detection because the symptoms he had were just common aches and pains that could be attributed, as it was in his case, to something else. And unlike breast or prostate cancer, there are no screening tools to be able to tell in advance when pancreatic cancer is getting started. In February of this year, I went from being a caregiver of a loved one with pancreatic cancer to being a patient. It began with pain in my upper abdomen. Last fall, I had some pain, went to the doctor, and was diagnosed with gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD. And thought that's what it was, and it very well may have been. But in February, this pain that started was much more intense, and definitely in the center of my stomach area. So I went to have that checked out, and I was diagnosed this time with gastritis. And after several attempts to see some GI doctors, and I didn't really have any success with that, being able to get in quickly enough, I wound up 6 days later going to the ER at Mission Hospital in Asheville. That was 6 days after the pain had really begun to be strong, but I knew there was something that wasn't quite right. By that time, I'd lost 7 pounds. The pain was radiating to my back, and I had some gastrointestinal issues. The ER doctor told me he didn't like my symptoms, and he admitted me. 5 days later, on February 24th of this year, after having had blood tests and a CT scan and MRI, and even a laparoscopically guided biopsy, I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And it was a big surprise, because I'm not a smoker, I don't drink. My father did die of it, but that's not really a major cause for someone getting pancreatic cancer. It could have been in my case. My cancer was a non-endocrine adenocarcinoma, which is the most common type of pancreatic cancer. It was a cancerous mass that was in the head of my pancreas. And the cancer of pancreas, it's not just one disease. There are actually 20 different kinds of tumors that are lumped under the umbrella of pancreatic cancer. And each kind of tumor may have a different location, and it may even have a different outlook. Some are considered curable. Not all are malignant, and some people that have a tumor, they can have it removed and they just go on with their life. It's not malignant. But 85% of patients who are diagnosed with pancreatic cancer are diagnosed with the same kind of tumor that I have, and that was the adenocarcinoma. It is a very aggressive cancer, and it is deadly. It is, as has already been mentioned, the 4th leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States. After the diagnosis, and before I left the hospital, I had a surgeon, an oncologist, and a gastrointestinal doctor who worked together to decide upon the best plan of treatment for me. Timing is crucial with this aggressive cancer. I was also blessed to be told that I was a candidate for surgery. Unfortunately, not all patients are even able to have surgery. 60 to 80% of the people that are diagnosed with pancreatic cancer find that their cancer is too far advanced, and they're not even able to have the surgery because it is so far advanced, and the surgery will not do them any good. For the remaining few that can have the surgery, people even then are disqualified from surgery because of other risks that might be. For example, they may have a heart disease, and the surgery is difficult surgery. They may have other diseases that might make it more difficult. And while an operation to remove the tumor is the best chance for survival, out of 100 patients that would be diagnosed, only 15 to 20 are actually able to have the surgery. that might give them the best chance of survival. And there are different kinds of surgery depending upon the tumor. For my kind of tumor that I had, which is the major kind of tumor for 85% of the patients diagnosed, there is an operation called a Whipple operation. It's not considered a cure, however. Those who undergo a Whipple have a 5-year survival rate of 20%. That's not high. But it is better than those who do not have the surgery. For those who cannot get the tumor taken out, their survival rate, as has already been mentioned, is 5 to 6%. In 5 years. In 5 years, 5 to 6% would still be alive. As I said, it's a very aggressive and deadly cancer. So I thank the Lord that I was able to have the surgery. So in less than 3 weeks after being diagnosed, my husband and I went to Mission Hospital and I had the Whipple operation. As I said, it's complicated, it's major surgery, and it is hard for both the patient and the doctor. As a matter of fact, my surgeon, he told me only afterward, he said that heart surgery and brain surgery is actually easier than doing the Whipple operation on somebody with pancreatic cancer. And the reason for that part has to do with the difficulty of getting to the pancreas. It's located behind the stomach. It's really hard to get to. And also you have some major blood vessels that run right behind the pancreas, and that makes for can make for a lot of complications during the time of surgery. Also, you can get an abdominal infection after the surgery from leakage because they cut and paste you pretty good when they're doing the surgery. And in my case, which is actually the case of most people with pancreatic cancer doing the Whipple operation, the doctor took part of my stomach, took part of my intestines, my gallbladder, and 12 lymph nodes. So I definitely was replumbed by this surgery. And like I said, it was a difficult surgery and it has taken a long time for recovery. But we've made a lot of progress with the surgery. As recently as 1970, 25% of people that underwent the Whipple surgery did not even survive the operation. So we really have come a long way with that. Right now, less than 5% of people will pass away because of the surgery, and if you go to a hospital where they've done it on a regular basis, it's down to less than 1%. We have made progress. A pathology report following my surgery came back showing the cancer, in fact, had spread to my intestine and to 1 lymph node. He took out 12 and I had cancer in 1 lymph node. It was staged, as has already been said, as a level 3, which means it was locally advanced. Statistically, those findings are not good for the chances of my survival. But the good news is that the surgery got all of the cancer that they knew of in my body. It took it out of the intestine has been taken away, the pancreas is gone, the lymph node is gone. So as far as we know, we have gotten the cancer, as far as we know. 4 weeks later, my husband and I met with my major oncologist to discuss the treatment plan. And in most cases of pancreatic cancer, chemotherapy and or radiation is recommended whether or not somebody's had surgery or not, even whether or not the tumor is malignant or not, because it could be later in life. So that is a recommendation that they make. The broad scope of chemotherapy is to kill any cancer cells that might be lurking elsewhere in the body. And the radiation therapy, I loved what my radiation doctor told me. He said, visualize the surgery that you've had as your surgeon being somebody who is a woodworker, and he's cut out a piece of wood. And maybe there's some pieces of sawdust that have fallen on the floor of the room. Well, your radiation doctor, I'm going to come in, and I've got this big vacuum cleaner, and I'm going to vacuum up any of those pieces of sawdust that might be left in the room. And I thought that was really an excellent way of describing what radiation therapy actually does. It targets cancer cells in a specific region, not necessarily pancreas, they do it in other areas too, but it gets a specific region, whereas the chemotherapy is all systemic. It covers the entire body in case there are any kind of cancer cells still left in the body. Since April, I've received 3 weekly sessions of IV chemotherapy, followed by 28 days of oral chemotherapy and radiation, followed by another 9 weekly sessions of IV chemotherapy. I just finished finished my final session of chemotherapy on October 23rd. Side effects have been mild to moderate. I've had some situations that have required medical treatment, and I've had a trip to the emergency room with a very high chemo-related fever. I've lost almost 40 pounds. Not able to do things that I would like to do. I've still got my hair. That's one thing that didn't happen, but it's been a hard, long 9 months for me, as it has been for anybody that has gone through cancer treatment. I don't deny cancer treatment is hard on anybody that's been through it. My digestive system, still not able to digest certain foods, and I'm actually beginning to experience what they call late-term side effects. And those are side effects that happen after the treatment is finished. They come on after the treatment. They just kind of surprise you. They sneak up on you. I had a CT scan in September, which nothing suspicious was found. They had no masses, no shadows, nothing. I had a tumor marker just done with some blood work on Monday. And while a tumor marker is not really an accurate tool for giving the doctors an exact idea what's going on in your body, it can signal the possibility of a tumor getting started. My tumor marker was down. So I thank the Lord for where I have come and where I am right now. I've really truly been blessed. I go back in in December for another CT scan. I will have regular checkups with my oncologist. More frequently now, but I will probably be with my oncologist for the rest of my life, because unfortunately with pancreatic cancer, it often comes back. And it comes back maybe in another part of your body, but it is still pancreatic cancer because that was the original cancer. What can I say about pancreatic cancer? Well, it's dreadful because it comes on so silently and it comes on quickly, and as you know, the chances of survival are not good. It's difficult not only on the patient, but on the family members that are involved. I think really in many ways, I think my husband has had it harder than I have in many ways, for a lot that has fallen on him. Our 22-year-old daughter, she's struggled with the gravity of this kind of cancer that her mother has. It definitely changes life. It changes life for a lot of people. It's those of you that have dealt with somebody with cancer, you know what that's like. It changes your life. The statistics are grim, but actually I've learned not to worry about statistical data, because for me, my faith has carried me through this, and I know where I stand. I know where I'm going to go. All the days written for me were in his book before one of them came to be, and worrying about it's not going to hurt me at all. Not going to help me, rather, excuse me, not going to help me at all. So actually I rest in that. For those that have faith, that truly has been a big thing that has carried me through, along with lots of prayer of people and loved ones that I do know and people that I don't know. Because of the difficult experience of patients and their families that they have when dealing with pancreatic cancer, it becomes, I think, even more imperative that we begin to see advances in the treatment and the detection and even the prevention of pancreatic cancer. We must focus on issues that will benefit those who are going to come after us. Lives can be saved. Families can actually benefit from research and us going forward with making progress in this actual dreadful disease. We need to work now for an increased awareness, and we can't waste any time. The Pancreatic Cancer Action Network has a report in which findings have the fact that by the year 2020, and maybe as early as 2015, pancreatic cancer is going to move from being the 4th leading cause of cancer deaths to the number 2 leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States for both men and women. It's estimated that as early as 2015, the number of deaths from pancreatic cancer are going to be more than breast cancer and colorectal cancer. It is a cancer that is on the rise, and they do not know why. Right now, among the top 5 cancer killers, only pancreatic cancer is increasing in the number of people that are being diagnosed and the number of people that are dying from it. It is the only one of the 5 that is on the increase. And my oncologist, I asked him that. I said, is this true? When I saw him on Monday, he said, yes. He said, I'm actually seeing more cases of pancreatic cancer than I ever have, and I can't explain why. I was excited to learn that there is a 15-year-old boy from Maryland who just won an international science fair. He had created a simple method for detecting pancreatic cancer, a 15-year-old boy. And what it does, it finds apparently the presence of a cancer-linked protein, and he finds it before the cancer has actually spread and developed within the body. And the test has been shown to be more than 90% accurate. Right now, it's in clinical trials, but I was shocked to read that it's going to be years before this test is actually available. And I wonder why. Why is it going to take years in today's day and time? And I wonder, does it have to do perhaps with lack of funding? Or does it have to do maybe with lack of interest? And I hope that's not the case. And that's why we're here today. We need more awareness and medical research in order to slow the number of pancreatic cancer deaths. Pink ribbons are everywhere, and they have helped breast cancer. They've helped it with the awareness, and they've helped to fund medical research. So let's remember purple as well as pink so that we can give future generations a better fight against this terrible disease. And I thank the Lord that I'm able to be here, that I've had as many days as I've been given, and I thank you for being here in support. Thank you.
Let's give Jerry another hand, if you would, please. One of the Cousins for a Cure, Teresa Ramsey, will now come to the microphone to share a challenge with you this evening.
Again, thank you for being here. And if you have helped in our cause, because I was telling someone we're all cousins, we're all kin, we're like family. We appreciate your efforts in helping us bring this awareness. As I wanted to read one thing to you that I found on a website today that I was searching through, and it's a little daunting. Cancer, a beast, a monster. It touches us all in some way. In 2011, it was estimated that there would be 1,596,670 new cases of cancer, and that 571,950 people were projected to die from cancer. According to stats on a new website that I went to called Trash Cancer, and that's with Cancer Schmancer, Fran Dresser is promoting us to go to that website. If cancer is found early, 90% of people can be saved. So that's, that's hope right there. If we can find it early enough, then 90% of the people can be saved. In the words of our Diane, all of you have your own stories, and we wish that we had time for everyone here to be able to share your story with us up on stage. And I hope that you'll go forth today and you'll share your story and bring it up and bring it to the attention of everyone so that they can realize awareness is key. And we hope that you will join us in that effort, and I know that you will. But then in the words of our Diane today, we are here to reach and teach. Hopefully through promoting awareness about this mostly unknown cancer, we can go forth and take action. We can tell all of our friends, and we can give them the facts. We can help educate so that everyone will have a better understanding about this lack of funding for research. By voicing the need for funding for early detection, we give hope and a mechanism to fight the beast. And as you look around here today, we call ourselves Cousins for a Cure. We're not really all cousins, like I said. We're family, and we're connected through friendship and through association, and by the Macon County Commissioners Act, and by the town and the board of aldermen and the mayor's act, in proclaiming this month as Cancer Month. we have their support, and we really appreciate that. We hope that everyone can go forward and help us beat this monster. Before you leave today, please pick up a program, because on the front it tells where you might make a donation. As we mentioned, Diane's doctor is a key doctor at Mass General, and he is in charge of research funding for pancreatic cancer. She is fortunate to have one of the best, if not the very best doctor, to be able to help her in her cause. But on the back, there's also some information and some statistics that you would like to review. We will be having other information available at the table right over there, and it's all free. We have bookmarks we're giving. We have a website, gratitude.com. We would love for you to go there and read our story. There's links to important cancer websites that can help give you some vital information. And you know, she's probably going to get mad at me for saying this, but I have to say my mother-in-law, Margaret Ramsey, decided she wasn't going to take it lying down and that she was going to do something about it. And so we are here for that reason. Thank you.
Wear your purple ribbons this month. Help spread the word about pancreatic cancer and the lack of funding that is available to the different organizations and research teams out there. Hold one another up in prayer, if you would, please, and support one another as we make our way through a holiday season, which can be one of the most difficult times on families that are facing illness or on those that have lost loved ones. God bless you all. Thank you for being here this evening and your show of support. And if I do not see you before, happy Thanksgiving.